The lake was going to be my sanctuary, a peaceful cabin surrounded by pines where the water glistened like a promise of serenity. I pulled up that Friday morning with a cooler full of steaks and a week's worth of quiet in mind, set to fish or get lost in a book by the fire pit. But before I even got to open the door, trouble ambushed me. A woman in a crisp blazer, holding a clipboard like a scepter, stormed across my driveway of gravel. Her heels sinking into the earth, she was yelling that her guests awaited, that I was sabotaging her lakeside party by keeping my cabin walled off if my private property was her own party location. Her name was Vivian Caldwell, HOA President, self-proclaimed dictator of the lakeside community, and a woman who carried herself as if she owned the sunrise. My dog Shadow, a German shepherd with not a high tolerance for theatrics, growled, coming toward her sunglasses sitting atop her head. Like a crown, Vivian had been the bane of my existence since I purchased the cabin. Her glares during HOA meetings keen enough to shave glass. Despite my property having just lain beyond their jurisdiction of fact, she hated with a venom that would have soured the lake. As I got off the porch, I saw luxury SUVs along the road, their tinted windows glimmering menacingly. A banner strung between my trees was, "Welcome Serenity Shores guests." As though my property was included in her party, I blinked, believing it to be an error, but Vivian strutted up with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, good you're here," she said, as though we were old buddies. "We had a mix-up with the lodge reservation, so I informed my guests we'd have to use your cabin for overflow. Just open it and I'll take care of the rest." I laughed, anticipating for the punchline. There wasn't one. "You're serious?" I asked. She waved to my cabin like it was a community shed. "It's just you, so I assumed you'd be flexible. 2 nights will spruce up." My voice hardened. "Not gonna happen." Her smile fell apart, and I brushed past her, locking myself in. She stood stock still, then stormed off her clipboard. Flapping like a wounded bird, the day ran into unease. HOA members swarmed. Someone attempted parking in my driveway. I had to shoo them off their confusion, hinting Vivian had lied about my property being shared that night. As the sun brushed the lake gold, I heard scraping beside the back door. Peeking through blinds, I saw 2 figures with bolt cutters, their silhouettes glinting in the dusk, my heart racing as I flipped on the porch light and banged the window. They ran like startled coyotes. I called the sheriff, but the deputy who came was Vivian's nephew, his sigh thick with bias. "My aunt says it's a misunderstanding," he drawled. "Perhaps be more neighborly," I snapped. "Neighborly doesn't mean giving strangers my home." He left without taking notes, and I stood on the porch. The lakes is calm, mocking the storm brewing inside me by morning. An orange violation notice was taped to my door, citing failure to support community events under an HOA code that didn't apply to me. I balled it up into the fireplace, its edges burning to ash at the town diner. I overheard 2 women cooing over their 1,000 lakeside vacation, one showing a photo of my cabin from a booking website. My blood ran cold. Vivian had put my property up for rent using photos I'd posted online. I discovered the listing, Lakefront Haven private dock, no host interaction. She was making thousands off a scam. I screenshotted everything, my anger sharpening into resolve that afternoon. I closed my gate and displayed a private property. No trespassing sign. Vivian arrived, her face a mask of anger, demanding I have some respect for community values. I told her I'd show respect for the law, and if she trespassed again, I'd call a real sheriff. Her eyes got cold, but she left. This wasn't about a cabin, Anna Maria. It was a power play, and she'd misjudged me. Monday brought fresh absurdity. A utility truck pulled up, 2 men in orange vests circling my property with clipboards, snapping pictures of my dock and grumbling about infractions. They purported to be HOA compliance officers, informing me my exemption was being reviewed. I drew their attention to my land, being county-zoned, not theirs. They shrugged at my untrimmed reeds and oversized dock. An orange flag materialized in my flower bed, marked pending review. I snapped a picture, sending it to my attorney Ellen, who texted, "Don't touch it, document everything." Later, I discovered a sign posted on my dock community treasure. I tore it down, adding it to my expanding evidence folder. My Aunt Clara phoned that evening, explaining Vivian had emailed HOA members, stating I was selling to developers endangering community harmony. Clara, a past board member, uncovered outdated bylaws establishing my exemption and vowed to send them. I posted trail cameras around the cabin, reinforced locks, and padlocked the porch doorway. Vivian sought a war I'd fight with facts the next day. HOA letter called me into a community tension mediation session I phoned and declined, saying I'd meet them in court that evening. My floodlight had a woman measuring my shed's foundation. Vivian's new compliance officer she ran when seen, but caught by my cameras. I printed off the recording, adding it to my evidence during a barbecue with the neighbors. Sick of Vivian's tyranny. We shared war stories. She'd find one for an upside-down canoe, another for unapproved meeting minutes. An alliance formed quiet, but determined by morning. Another notice accused me of electrical code violations. Pure fiction, as utilities were county regulated. I added it to the pile, knowing Vivian's strategy was to overwhelm me. She didn't know. I thrived on patience. Tuesday, Vivian arrived with a man in a suit, holding blueprints, and a woman with a community first mug. She pitched a lakefront redevelopment needing my cabin's cooperation. I stared silent until she slipped up. I closed the door, observing her deflate from the window. That evening, my cameras recorded a forgery county notice on my gate purchase assessment area at the zoning office. The clerk attested to its forgery, a felony. I asked for certified maps confirming my exemption. Clara's bylaws came with a clause an HOA president could be removed for profiteering through misrepresentation. Vivian's scam fit hand in glove at the dock. I watched her pull back, lay out tables, lanterns, and a sign on my cabin that it was a lounge suite. I took a picture of anger rising. She doubled down, guaranteeing my fire pit to strangers. Wednesday, I heard retreat guests at the cafe excited about their waterfront suite. My cabin, I gave them my card, telling them I owned it, and it wasn't. For rent, their anger turned to rage. They'd paid Vivian's assistant hundreds. I told them to demand refunds home. My cameras caught someone attempting my door at 2 a.m. With the assistant's badge, I sent video to Ellen, now constructing a fraud case by Saturday. Vivian's event transpired like a gaudy spectacle. Pontoons served trays and guests in polos. I stood on my porch as a group made their way to my gate. Bewildered by the lock, one rang, displaying a booking confirmation for my cabin. I explained the scam, and she consented to make a statement. Her $800 payment proof of Vivian's deception. Whispers circulated, guests checked phones, discovering they'd been duped. Vivian flitted between crowds, her smiles desperate when a guest pulled out her speakers. Silence descended her control. Slipping guests departed early, some phoning banks, others challenging her. I remained silent as she let her lies fall apart. A new sheriff showed up, no relation to Vivian. I presented him with my deeds, screenshots, and footage. He reported that charges hinged on victims as the party fell apart, trash-scattered cups bobbing in the lake. Vivian yelled at a worker, her voice cracking. Sunday, a guest online post about the scam went viral in the community group. More victims came forward, exposing Vivian's back-channel payments. A contractor came by claiming she owed him $3,000 for lodge work, ignored by the board. He gave a statement joining my case that evening. My cameras recorded someone chopping up my garden hose. Vivian's sabotage. I sent the footage to Ellen Neighbor. Paula brought over a casserole and names of others willing to speak out, remembering Vivian's history of bullying, such as getting a vet for his motorcycle. Monday, the county sent certified letters verifying my exemption. I laminated one from my window and dropped another in Vivian's mailbox with cease false claims at an emergency HOA meeting. I gave my proof, screenshots, footage, guest statements, and the bylaws clause. Clara uncovered Vivian's hidden violations. The contractor provided unpaid, invoiced the guest who lost $800, testified her betrayal. Shushing the room, Vivian's denials shattered. The board voted unanimously to take her away. She departed pale and speechless. The lake fell quiet, no notices. No patrols, neighbors presented gifts when chimes returned, and the new president, Nora, invited me as a liaison. I joined, ensuring no one else encountered Vivian's ire. A note on my gate stated, "Thank you for not backing down." I kept it a relic of victory. The cabin remained locked. The lake free might stand a quiet legacy of truth over tyranny.